Load in class.
We do have to do that every once in a while. They got classes. All right, after reviewing the film and breaking it down, there were some really good things in the game. We improved in some areas. We corrected a lot of mistakes, but we still made some mistakes in some other areas. So we still have plenty to improve on. I thought one thing offensively that we did again was we took care of the football, and that was really good to see. Defensively, once the adjustments were made to what Illinois was trying to do against us, I thought our defense played really well from that point on. Both in the run game and in the passing game. Special teams wise, we put the ball on the ground and created a turnover, which is unacceptable. And so we've got to get those things corrected.
Some of the adjustments that you made defensively, there weren't as many down linemen on defense with a hand on the ground. Now was upright a couple of times. How much did that affect? Was one of the adjustments that you made in effect what they were doing?
Well, it was really more of adjusting. That wasn't a bit. That was part of the game plan going in. The adjustments were really, part of the adjustments were recognizing when they had 6 offensive linemen on the line of scrimmage, and what we needed to do in those situations. And early in the game, that was something that we weren't prepared for at all, and it created some issues with us in some of our checks and adjustments. And so we got some linebackers out of place, third play of the game, but after that we got it corrected.
Was there more of an emphasis this week to use the run to set up the pass?
No, not really. I mean, it just was the way the game, what the defense gave us and what we were trying to take advantage of in the game, according to what they did. And so then, anytime you run the ball effectively, we're gonna be better offensively.
Do you prefer that kind of balance, though? Almost an equal. I know it wasn't equal the other day, but
No, I don't.
do you like
I don't care.
balance, or do you care?
Oh, I like balance. I like balance. But balance to me is not the same thing as balance to y'all. Balance to y'all is, 40-40. I don't look at carries, throws. I never look at that. If we rush for 100 yards one game, throw for 300, and then the next game turn around, rush for 300 and throw for 100, that's balance to me. Because I look at the end of the year where we're at. Not how many carries, how many runs. It's where were we productive, with both styles of offense, throwing and running.
Did Mitch do a better job of recognizing the defense and making decisions out of what
He
saw
did.
in front of him?
Yeah, he had a lot fewer mistakes, actually. Mental mistakes. I mean, so he was much more relaxed and much more doing what he does in practice.
What other corrections did Mitch make? I know you talked a lot about his footwork.
Yeah, I mean, his eyes were really good. He had his eyes in the right place, throughout the game. As you looked at him, there was one ball that I didn't think he did a nice job with his eyes. And, that was when he threw the deep ball to Mack over on the side, and the safety almost got to it. He didn't control the safety there, and so he has to do that. But other than that, I thought he did a really nice job with his feet and with his eyes throughout the game.
Larry, last year you guys caught some flack at the end of the year, like 2 FCS teams, you guys from the playoff discussion. 2 more this year. What's your philosophy on the ideal number, and why do you?
Well, I mean, 1 is enough for me. I mean, but unfortunately, with the how far advanced schedules go. When it goes back to the are we going to play 8 conference games, 9 conference games, and then 8. Then Notre Dame's coming in. When are you playing them? And then it just created some holes in our schedule, and we weren't able to fill it. And so we got we're in this situation. I mean, so nothing really we can do about it. I will say this: you guys know this. I mean, if you look at the last 2 weeks, there's been FCS teams beat Division I teams every week the last 2 weeks of the game of the season. So this is not a no matter what you want to think about it, this is a team that we have to prepare for, and we've got to do a great job against, because they'll come in here and their plan will be to beat us.
Is there much of a difference in your opinion between a higher level FCS team and a lower, quote unquote, lower level FBS team?
I would say in some cases, the FCS team is better. I mean, actually, in some cases, I mean, you can, I mean, you could pick out 4 or 5 FCS schools and match them up with some Division I schools, and you know that FCS team's gonna win. I mean, there's some really good ones out there.
Does what happened with Georgia help your sell, help your pitch to the guys?
What do you mean?
Well, Georgia was beating Nicole State by 2 points, the FCS team, so if you need something to get their attention, is that
Yeah,
something
I
that
mean,
can help you?
that's a good example of you know, whether or not they had a hangover after our game, and you know, I don't know. I didn't see that game. I don't know what happened in it. I have no idea. But, yeah, I mean, it's something that we talk about all the time. It doesn't matter who we play, what time we play them, where we play them, you know, what the weather's like, all those things. It's really us playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, no matter who we play. You know, so we won't look at this team any differently. We won't prepare for this team any differently than we did for Georgia or for Illinois. And I'll be very disappointed in my team if they don't take that same approach. And I have complete confidence that they will.
Larry, there's a lot of FCS teams, like you mentioned, that have had competitive games, not just last weekend, but in previous years.
Yeah.
Your teams have always excelled against FCS opponents. Do you attribute that just to the mindset you've been able to instill?
I hope so. I mean, because we take everybody seriously. It doesn't, you know, it's the next game. It's the most important game, you know, and if you don't do it and you fall, you know, and you don't win, it became a really important game, you know. So, you know, I know the fans and everybody outside thinks that it's not a big game. Well, it's a big game to me. It's a big game to our football team.
Larry, I think they've scored 136 in their first 2 games.
Right.
What's the most impressive thing they do offensively?
Well, they've run the football. I mean, they've rushed for I think 800 and something yards already in 2 games, and I mean that's hard to get done, you know, in practice against air. I mean, that's a lot of yardage, you know. And so they've had a lot of success running the football in the first 2 weeks, and they're serious about it. So. Yeah, you score 136 points in 2 games. I mean, you're hitting on a lot of cylinders early in the season.
When you have 2 backs like TJ and Elijah, and especially in a situation like Saturday where they're both pretty effective, is it a schedule as to who plays when, or do you go with a hot hand? How do you determine, you know?
We go with a hot hand. We go with a hot hand. We know that both are going to play, you know, and they both know that, you know, we've been doing it that way since they got here, and that hasn't changed. It's still about production. If you're producing, you get the ball. If you're not, the next guy gets to get his shot to produce.
And how big a deal as a coach is it to have 2 guys that are, you know, that effective?
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, it's nice to know that if something happens, you still have a very, you know, high-quality running back to be able to put in there.
TJ's had good moments before, obviously, in games. It just seems like he's kind of doing everything all over the field right now.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, I
there
mean,
something different right now? I mean, in his approach, or something about his game, or is it this experience, or?
I mean, I just think all the hard work that TJ puts in is paying off, and I mean, you really see it on the field. I mean, he looks like he's at a different speed than the other players on the field. And I mean, if you go back and look at his GPS numbers from day 1 of fall camp to now, I mean, he's going to be the highest, if not the second highest guy on the team every single day. And you know, all that's paying off for him. He's just got such a great attitude. I mean, you know, any way that he can help this football team, he's excited to do it.
He said last week that he's running a little bit lower now, and it's helping him shift and also turn his nose upfield. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yeah, you see where you see the difference I see in him is he's finishing runs off now. You know, he's always finishing off. I mean, nobody's hitting him and stopping him right there. I mean, he's going to get a couple more yards or another yard and a half, which, you know, he's finishing. So that's huge. You know, that's one of Hood's strengths is how he runs, is that he finishes every run off. And now I think TJ he's seen that, and it's made him a better runner too.
Is it as simple as speed with him and kickoff returns? Is there something else that
Well, he's got his vision is improved over the years. I mean, because he understands what we're doing scheme wise. That one that he hit the other night, you know, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot there. I mean, he just hit it, and he hit it hard, and he broke some tackles, and there was no one good thing that he does is there's not much tiptoeing and looking for something to happen. I mean, he sticks his foot in the ground, he makes one cut, and then he goes.
There were some questions about the linebacker position coming into the season. It seemed like several of those guys made some individual plays in both games. Has that group met expectations, played above expectations thus far?
I would say they still have a ways to go. But Andre, had a really, really, really productive game the other day. And then Cole did too. I mean, you're talking about two young guys. I mean, both of them are sophomores. I mean, they're young and don't have a lot of experience. What we need is we're continuing to harp on the leadership part because that position dictates it. We need it, on the, and you don't see that throughout the entire game. We gotta have it there. So they still gotta come. They're making plays, but we need them to raise the level of the guys around them.
What about the other spot? Kaysen and
Yeah,
Hayden
Kaysen.
both played a lot, and even Dominic Ross
Yeah,
got in there.
Kaysen's gotten, Kaysen has the most reps of anybody out there, and he's playing, he's playing well, and we're able to spell him and give him some breaks with Aiden Bonilla. Aiden's able to come in and knows exactly what to do and is very intelligent, and so that's nice to be able to have some guys. J.B. Copeland came in the other day to give Holcomb a break and there was no letdown, so we're finally building up some guys that we can go in and play more than one guy, and the coaches feel comfortable.
Is that spot secure with Kaysen as a starter and sort of the pecking order there?
It is today,
Okay.
yes.
Are Holcomb and Andre the two nickel linebackers, is that correct?
Yeah, when we go to the nickel, Kaysen comes out, and they're the two linebackers that are on the field, yes.
Tamon is the guy that you've had to rely on maybe more than you expected you would at this point.
Yeah.
How do you feel like he's handled?
I think that kid has done an unbelievable job. He's really productive. I mean, he's harassing the quarterback. He caused a fumble the other night. The offensive lineman picked up and rushed for 15 yards. But I mean, he's played extremely hard, a little bit reserved in that first game, and I thought you really saw him come on in this game and take another step and make even more plays. And I think the future's really bright for him.
I know circumstances have dictated it for him in terms of playing time, but I mean, ideally, would he be a guy that you would have brought along more slowly, or did you envision?
Probably would have. For guys like that, we look at, hey, somewhere around the 4th or 5th game of the season, we need you to be able to really go. And that means sprinkling them in, 10 to 15 plays a game, keep bringing them along, and then by that 4th, 5th game, you expect them to be, we just had to do it a little bit earlier with him. I mean, he played 56 snaps the other day.
Powell and Hatton are still on the depth chart. Any updates on their availability this week?
I believe that both guys will be with us tomorrow, so as far as I know as of today.
They haven't been practicing and didn't travel. Have they been around otherwise at all, or have they been
No.
stepped away?
They've been away, taking care of personal reasons.
Would that slow their ability to get back in there, or would they be able to catch up fast enough to be able to be available this
We'll
weekend?
find out, in the game plan this week. We'll see what they're able to do on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we'll set a travel squad on Thursday.
This is the latest Carolina's open at home in 6 years. What does it mean to, after
Well,
training
I
camp?
mean, I can tell you, our guys are excited to get back and play in the tar pit. They really are. We feel like that this, home field is an edge for us, and so I think they're anxious to get back and play in front of our fans. We played in front of two hostile crowds. That especially early on that game this last week, the crowd was loud and they did a great job. And we're looking forward to coming home and that being an edge for us.
What is the biggest thing you gained from that, you think, 2 games of playing in those type of environments to start?
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be an environment that's going to bother our kids going forward. They've been in it already now. I don't think there's going to be any issues. You're always worried about noise, silent counts, all those different things, jumping off sides. We still had some of those things, but I don't think that going forward that's going to be an issue for us.
I think you're one of only 4 Power 5 teams to open up with 2 road games, and you're the only one to open up with 2 non-conference road games against other Power 5s.
Maybe you're right. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was looking it up last night, I just thought it was kind of interesting, but I think you could sort of ask the question.
Yeah, I just know We're playing James Madison this week at home.
It's nice to be back home, man.
It is.
My question is not about attendance, it's
Okay.
about tailgating at UNC. Are you aware of the tailgate situation? I know you're
Not aware at
obviously
all. Don't, never had the opportunity to tailgate here and don't, I actually haven't had the opportunity to tailgate anywhere, so I don't know what it's like anywhere.
Some would say that there's not like one main place, like NC State, there's a whole area to tailgate, and it's at UNC, there's
Yeah, well,
never
we-
one main
I mean,
area.
I don't know that you have, I don't know this. If you have your stadium off campus out in a big field, you probably got a lot of area that have one tailgating area. You're on campus, in the middle of your campus, I don't know that that's realistic to have just one area that everybody's gonna tailgate in.
Does the lack of that concern you at all?
Not at all. And I really haven't concerned myself with tailgating.
Okay.
Someday, I hope to though. Someday, that's gonna be a concern of mine.
What steps would you like to see Mitch take this week? Just, could be.
Just keep improving. I mean, I still do a great job taking care of the football, which that's what he's done. Become more relaxed, and, again, I mean, I want to cut down on the mental mistakes. If we do that each and every week, then we're gonna have a really good quarterback.
Else?
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you much.